Welcome in, beautiful souls. If this is your first time joining in, my name is Ashuna. I'm a galactic alchemist, energetic healer, and channeler for spirit. You have reached Galactic Alchemy, and today we are going to go into the Akashic Records. And I'm going to share stories of some of my lifetimes as an oracle. And we're going to talk to the record keepers and see what insight and information they would like to share with you on how you can tap into your own personal records. And if you need help and guidance with that, that's something I can assist you with as well. You're welcome to book a one-on-one appointment with me through my website. So let's go tap into the records. Record keepers, please come forward. We wish to access the wisdom and knowledge of my various past lifetimes as an oracle. Can you please take me back to places that I need to connect with for my soul's journey and that would be relevant to share with the audience today? So the first lifetime that we're going to discuss today is one of my past lifetimes when I was an oracle in Delphi, Greece. And I used to cover or shroud my head, very similar to this, which is why we are shrouding our head in this video today. Back when I was living in Delphi, Greece, I was an oracle channeling messages from Apollo and the other gods to share with the masses, but mostly to share with those who had money and power, of course. And what I would do is I would sit on a three-legged stool, holding a bowl of spring water in one hand and holding a grouping of laurel leaves in the other. And they would give me oleander to help me get into a trance-like state. Now, obviously, we know that's very poisonous in this day and age, but in small doses, it does not totally harm you. And I would go into these channeled states and I would share insight and information and whatever else the gods wanted the people to know. And I was very well revered. I was known as somebody who was very special because I had gifts. I was a chosen one. And I have visions of myself walking down corridors and people looking at me like I was a celebrity. You would think I was walking around in California and the paparazzi would want to take my photograph because that is the response I would see. People gasping, oh my God, it's her. But that was a lifetime where I was revered for the work that I do. But there's also been lifetimes where I've been persecuted and looked down upon. But I have been an oracle. I have been a priestess. I have been a channeler for many, many cycles of my various soul journeys. Another soul journey that they're bringing into my awareness right now is going back to the time of Lemuria or Mu. And I was a high priestess in this lifetime. And I was very high up within the temple space that I worked at because I would train others on how to do the work that I do. And I have a very vivid memory of standing in this giant room. There are windows all around the outside edge. And in the center of this room is a very large crystal. I don't know what type of crystal it is. It almost kind of feels like amethyst or something along those lines. Definitely some type of quartz. And we would have people that would lay on this quartz crystal. And then myself and all of the priestesses would be kneeling on the floor and channeling healing, channeling light language, bringing forth all sorts of insight and help that would heal them. And I have visions of people literally levitating off of this crystal. They would literally be levitating in the air. And there would be this half moon circle of high priestesses, those in training and those who have already learned doing this work. And I'm walking around in the back, just so proud of how everybody has accomplished what they've accomplished and the amount of immense healing work that we would do. Now, back in this temple space, this was a time frame where there would be sexual magic included as well. And this was not meant in the form of like what we think of prostitution today. This was using it as a healing modality. And so these women would connect with various men in power or those who needed healing or connection or strengthening of their energy. And they would use that as a form of healing. Now, if you're not familiar with that form of work, that act itself is very sacred. It's very special. Someone is literally entering your body. They are becoming one with you. So when someone comes in and connects into the portal that is yourself, if you're female, that is, it's a very strong response. You are receiving what energy they are sending out. You are connecting with all of their traumas, all of their hurts, all of their pain. But you are also sending out and giving them what they need through that act. And I'm going to be honest, I think men get a lot more out of the act than women do, because women are always sending out. They're always sending out what needs to be sent. And sometimes they don't always receive the best end of things. Whether you agree with me or not, you can let me know in the comments. But women have to be conscientious of who they're connecting and partnering with, because you're taking on that energy. So that broke person, that person who is not so good vibes, don't just hook up with them. Don't just let anybody come and enter your temple, because it's not good for you. You're picking up their energy, and then you're going to start to receive that. And I'll tell you from personal experience, I have been with people that I should not have been with. And let me tell you, the effects last a long time afterwards. So keep your temple space clear. Be very mindful of who you connect with and who you gift your healing to. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of you watching this are a priestess, or you are an oracle, or you've done healing work, and that is part of your healing journey. So be conscientious of your partners, because they can either feed you and give you amazing energy, or they can drain you like a succubus. And girl, we don't have time for that. Nobody has time for that. Record keepers, can you bring forth another lifetime that we need to discuss with everyone today? The fall of Atlantis. Okay. The fall of Atlantis hits hard for me. This is a very powerful lifetime, because I was literally there when it ended. I remember that day very vividly. I actually learned about this lifetime when I was starting out on my spiritual journey, and I had bought a deck of oracle cards from a lady named Doreen Virtue. And if you've been around the spiritual community, Doreen is a very hot topic, controversial topic, because literally, I would say months after I started my spiritual journey, she had this epiphany of just condemning all of her work and going back to Christianity. And no shade to her. She's welcome to follow whatever journey resonates with her. But it was a very sad day for those in the spiritual community who loved to connect with her cards. And I had her deck of past life cards. And I never really did much with them, but I had just got this deck. I was buying a lot of her decks at this time. And I pulled a card and I asked to connect with what the card meant. And it was all about Atlantis. And I was shown this visual of the ground shaking, water coming, this tsunami wave coming at me. And I'm holding this little baby in my arms, just gripping it to my shoulder. And I'm running as fast as I can possibly run. And I'm watching these buildings and these structures crashing down around me. And these structures were made out of beautiful crystal. And I think of the Tartarian style architecture, if you've seen that. this very Tartarian style architecture, lots of crystals, because crystals was what was used to power everything. We actually harnessed the power of crystals for the energy grid. We had sustainable free energy back in Atlantis. But I remember being near the water, and I remember the wave coming, the tsunami crashing, the ground shaking. And I remember running and just watching the wave come up from behind me and swallow me into the ocean. And then I lost grip of my child. And I sat on my bed after watching this lifetime, and I cried for a long time because it just hit me so hard. It was like I literally couldn't save this child. I couldn't save myself. I literally died being swallowed into the ocean. And it was very traumatizing when I was early on in my spiritual journey. And I'm going to tell you guys, when you go into the records, not all your lifetimes are going to be beautiful and sweet. Some of them are going to be very heavy, and there's a lot to unpack around them. So, but in this lifetime, watching my demise, it was hard. It was very hard. And I've had some other lifetimes that I've been privy to, not necessarily through the records, but through past life regression therapy session that I had. And if you guys have ever done that, basically the practitioner puts you into a hypnotic state and ask your spirit team to come through and share insight and information with you. You get to meet your guides if you don't know who they are. And then you get taken to some different lifetimes. And through that practice, I was told about a lifetime in the 1800s where I was murdered. My whole family was murdered. We were traveling out west at the time. Think very Little House on the Prairie. And we're all sitting around the campfire having dinner and sitting next to the wagon and getting ready to go to bed because we had a long day of traveling. And the next thing I know, there's a Native American coming up behind me and literally scalping me across the forehead. And I'm feeling the blood dripping down my face, and I'm just horrified. And then the practitioner asks me, "Do you recognize this soul?" And I start thinking, and I was like, "Is it my boss?" She goes, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "Oh, that explains so much why I didn't like my boss at that time." And why every time he would come up behind me, I would just freeze up. I would just shiver because the thought of him touching my shoulder literally creeped me out. Now, he was already a creepy guy, but like to now know that he had murdered me in a past life just clarified so much for me in that moment. So, how can we tap in and connect with our own records? And for many of you, it's a journey and it's going to be a process. It's not something that's easy for you. And when you do get in and you do connect, for some of you, the energy is going to be a little overwhelming. So, how I would suggest starting out is asking to come and connect with you through meditation. I wouldn't go out of your way to do anything grandiose or ritualistic. Just ask them to connect you to things that might be helpful for you in meditation. It's a little softer, it's a little gentler, and it's going to be easier on your system because to get into the records, you have to be at a very high vibration point. I'm just going to be honest with you. And if you're fairly new, you're not going to be able to handle the vibration for very long. I remember when I took my Akashic Records training class, there were people in the room that were just not feeling good, and we had to close down the records. Now, I'm somebody who just leaves the records open, but that's because I've been doing this for a long time, and not just in this lifetime, but many lifetimes. So I can handle being in that vibration. It doesn't bother me. But for some of you, you might be in there for 5-10 minutes, and that's all you can stand. Because if you're in there any longer, it's overwhelming and it's too much for you. So start out by going and connecting in meditation. And really all you're doing is asking to connect with your personal records. Ask to see your book or your library or however it gets projected to you. Me, I have a giant library. I have lots of books. But that's me. I've had a lot of lifetimes. I've been a soul that has been around. I just keep hearing since the dawn of time. I'm very ancient soul. I have had so many lifetimes, not only here on Earth, but many, many galaxies and universes and planes of existence. And I've been a fairy and I've been a queen and I've been all sorts of things. But for you, you might be a newer soul. You might just have a little book. You might not have a library, but whatever it is, ask your spirit guides to help get you into the vibrational space to connect with that. One practice that you might want to start doing to help strengthen your vibration is asking them to take you into different dimensional spaces to feel the energy. That's something that I played around with when I was starting out on my journey. And what I would do is I would say, please take me in to the energy of the fifth dimension. And I would sit and I would let them bring my energy up. So please take me into the energy of the fifth dimension. Now I'm not feeling it right now because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm probably already in the fifth. So let's do a different dimension for me. Spirit team, please take me up into the energy of the seventh dimension. Let me feel what it feels like to be in the seventh dimension. And as you're doing this, guys, pay attention to how you feel, because you're going to feel kind of this rising up of your energy. You're going to feel like you're being pulled up. You're like, oh, I got to sit tall. I got to sit tall. I'm not where I was. I'm not slumped over like this anymore. I'm sitting tall. I'm being pulled up. There's this imaginary string pulling me up and helping me to sit tall and helping me to be at the level that I need to be at. And sit in that energy for a little while. And if you start to feel dizzy or overwhelmed, then tap yourself out and say, okay, please take me back to my current dimension. And you'll feel yourself kind of sinking down and getting more comfortable and getting back into the energy that you know. But play around with that, guys. It's a great tool. Just don't sit in the energy longer than you feel capable of connecting to it. And don't push yourself, guys. One of the biggest things with spirituality is you've got to work on a schedule that works for you. You cannot let anybody tell you how quickly or slowly you need to do something. For some of you, you're going to pick certain things up super fast. It's going to be easy for you. And you're going to breeze on through it. And you're just going to just be like, nope, doing this. Quick, easy, boom, done. And then for some of you, it's going to take longer. It's going to be harder. It's going to be more of a struggle. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need to take more time, take more time. Go at your own pace, but don't try to force anything. If we were talking about the Kundalini experience as an example, so many people want to have that experience, but that is not one that you go and seek out. It seeks out you. And if you're sitting here and trying to force it, you're going to possibly end up putting yourself in a psychosis. And we don't want that. We do not need to go and mentally harm ourselves or hinder our spiritual path just because we want something so bad. And I know for some of you, that's hard. You're not a patient person. You just want it and you want it now. And I know that feeling because when I started, I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to just connect and be. And when you're struggling with that at first, it's hard. But I'm going to tell you, once everything starts to click and it goes boom, 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 then it will make sense to you. One of the ways that I also like to connect in with the records, outside of just traveling there myself or connecting through meditation, is a process called scripted writing or automatic writing or channeled writing. I've heard it many different ways. And when I use the term automatic writing, sometimes people tell me, well, that's not automatic writing. So I'm just going to describe, and you can use whatever term resonates with you. But what I would suggest for you to do, and this is for all of your spiritual work, you don't just have to do this for the records, but get yourself a journal, a notebook, something that's specifically for this practice. I don't want you to use this notebook to take down notes or write down a phone number. This is for your spiritual practice. And if you want to be extra fancy like me, then go and buy a special pen that you use for this book. But that special pen is not a requirement. And I don't care where you got the notebook from. It could be the dollar store. It could be a fancy leather-bound journal. It's whatever resonates with you. But get yourself a book, a journal, a notebook, and write down whatever pops in your mind. Now, if you're clairaudient, you could hear a voice telling you what to write down. You're going to hear your own voice, but you're going to recognize over time as you do this that it's not you telling you yourself what to write down. It's usually one of your guides, but it could be your higher self speaking through you as well. But they're using your voice, they're using your energy, so it's going to sound like you. You could have a feeling, a sense, a knowing. That would be your claircognizance or clairsentience kicking in. You could suddenly have visions of things that you're seeing. But whatever you're being shown, feeling, connecting with, write it down. Just write it all down. And one really easy way to work with this is write down a question. Write down a question you want an answer to. And then write down the first immediate response that you feel. What do you feel, sense, connect with? What is coming up for you? And maybe it's a yes or no question. Do you feel yes? Do you feel no? What are you feeling or connecting with in that moment? Write it down. Whatever that is, boom, there's your answer for you. Record keepers, is there anything else I can share with our audience today on how to access the records? I'm hearing two words, patience and time. Patience and time. And I can think of somebody who's probably going to watch this video right now who's going, oh, I just want to access this. I just want to access this. And you know, got to be patient. You just got to give yourself time. The journey is one of self-discovery. When you are meant to connect with something, you will connect with it. Nothing is stopping you, preventing you, or hindering you from whatever direction you want to go. Just take your time, be gentle with yourself, and everything will start to flow when the timing is right. One thing you might also want to get into the daily habit of, besides a good meditation practice, is maybe pulling cards for yourself if you feel called, whether it's tarot, oracle cards, some type of journal prompt. Get into the habit of pulling yourself a card for the day. But getting into journaling, getting into this scripted automatic writing, this can really benefit your spiritual practice. And it can also help you to tap in and connect deeper and work in the vibration where the records are kept. And if you'd like to hear about your past lifetimes, that is definitely something I can assist you with, as I do past life sessions. And I would love to share insight and guidance with you on some of the lifetimes that you need to know about or connect with for your soul's journey to help you with healing in this lifetime and to help you to clear and cut cords to things that no longer serve a purpose for you. You can go to my website if you'd like to book some one-on-one time with me for that. I do want to thank you guys for sitting with me today, hearing the stories of me being an oracle, hearing how you can tap in a little bit and connect to the records for yourself. And I love you. I support you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but the best on your journey of self-discovery. And I'll be back again soon with another video for all of you.